Okay, so for our episode today, it hits home quite too close. So, who takes care of you when you're the strong one? That's what we will talk about today.
Welcome to Processing Life with Ness and Yan. This podcast is where we process life out loud, messy, honest, and unfinished. Let's process life together.
I'll go first because this really hits me hard. And to be honest, wala akong masagot agad sa question na who takes care of me. Because for the longest time, I just manage. I try to manage my own feelings, my own needs. And at times, I just kinda made do kung ano yung natira or ano natira para sa sarili ko. To the point na minsan lumilipas na lang siya. So for me, this is such a real thing na I've experienced myself. And I know I'm still experiencing it because it's been only a few years that I've set boundaries, that I've become aware na I also need help. I also need support. I also have my own stuff that I need to take care of.
I feel like this is a question that will remain a question. You know, it depends on where you're at, what's going on. I feel like sometimes you have very limited choices and you really have to be strong. I think 90% of the time we're called to be strong, and so we have to. But it gets to a point where when do you say, I'm at my limit and now I have to pause and I have to either find something else to do or delegate this to someone else, whatever that is. It's not going to be a question that you just answer automatically. I feel case-to-case basis. Sometimes we're going to have to say, I can't do this. I need to ask someone to do this for me. Or I'll do half of it. Can you do half of this? Or simply you have a support system while you're wanting to be strong. I mean, let's put a specific scenario na lang. When your mom was sick, when going through the whole, going to the hospital, it felt like 10 years of going through that.
Mm-mm.
And even when we were at the wake, it still felt like you still had to be strong. Di pa rin tapos.
Yeah. And even after that, like the whole ordeal of losing someone, losing your mom,
it's still a continuous thing. And who takes care of you can mean different things. It can just be someone who's there to listen to you. But I also like to bring out the aspect of being the strong one, that there are times when we don't have to be. And sometimes that's a harder ordeal to face. When you have been the strong one for 40 years, how can you stop being one? How can you stop not being strong? It will feel like a failure. It will feel like you lost. And so it is hard to let go of that role of being strong. For me, while you're talking about your mom, I'm trying to remember when did I had to be really strong, and wala kang choice, either be strong or be totally just freeze, like you're not able to do anything. I think it was also when I lost my dad. I had to be strong and I was away from my whole family. It was just me and my ex and his family. So not really someone that I can feel my family or would understand what it was like to lose the anchor of our whole family. So I had to be strong. I had to raise my son, raise an infant, and had no emotional support at all. And this was actually the time when I sought the help of a psychiatrist. But it was a total bomb. Like, I just went there to get some meds. Sabi ko lang, I used to be able to manage my highs and lows, and now I can't. Can you help me and just prescribe meds? I didn't even talk about my life situation. So that's really one significant time in my life where I felt I had to be strong. I had no choice. I had no family around me. I had to be this steady one. I had no choice. Like, who else would take care of my son in the way that I would take care of him while also going to work, which burned me out really fast.
Yeah. And I think that was also your turning point.
It was. It was. When I started asking myself, is this the life that I want? And the answer was no. And after that, I still had to be strong, but I also knew that it wasn't going to be a sustainable, life plan. I know that as a mother, you have to be strong because even if your child if he has grandparents and other family members, iba yung role ng mother. You're in a way irreplaceable. There are things that you're the only one who can provide that for your child. Ganun talaga siya. And whether you provide it or not, it will still affect your child. Ganun siyang klaseng role. And so, I can always resonate with this when clients come to me and when they tell me how they're feeling, and it's often about that because they have to be the strong one. Ang nahanap ko na lang sa sarili ko was that you can take a break from that role. Sometimes, so now what's coming to me, who takes care of you when you're the strong one? The most reliable person who can take care of you is you.
Yeah, totoo talaga yun. Kasi at the end of the day, when all else fail, it's you and your God. For me, I think I was able to do it for this long because I knew I have a strong faith. And I was also relying on myself to be okay. Pero yes, I've been to such low places na sana may ibang nakasupport. And I'm glad I have you. Because I'm able to tell you so many things that I've never spoken to anyone about. Siguro, some with my best friend. I'm glad I have a best friend too. To be able to just vent out or makapagsabi man lang ng anything that upsets me and then mawawala and then gagaan yung pakiramdam ko.
Yeah.
Pero yeah, for always being the reliable one, the strong one for so long, that really took a toll on me na hindi ko na-realize na it is eating me up inside. Because it was so normal na ako yun. Like, yun yung role ko. Na ako yung, parang almost like ako yung speed dial. When anything comes up with my parents or even my siblings, whether they know it or not, they always turn to me as if I have nothing to do. I have no family. I have no partner to check in or na may responsibilidad din ako sa ibang tao. And so, yung constant loop na yun, it was so hard to step back and to just say na magno-no ako, pwede ba? Pwede bang humindi? Pwede bang hindi sumagot? Pwede bang magsabi na hindi ako pwede? May ginagawa ako. Pwede bang magsabi na ayoko lang? Or na it doesn't need an explanation anymore.
Even that is a hard thing.
Oh yeah, it was so hard kasi like I remember yung first time na parang lumabas na lang sa bibig ko na I don't know if it's a rant or parang bigla na lang yung emotion, parang nagsabi ka na sa magulang mo na no. Sobrang hirap nun kasi parang kahit sa kanila siguro parang shock na uy, humindi siyan. Or so ngayon, because we've established that, because nasabi ko na it took a toll on me, it took a toll on my mental health. Now they're more mindful of how they reach out to me or tell me stuff or ask me stuff. And sometimes minsan na gugulat pa rin ako na ganun. Pero I think it's a better version. It's a better way of communicating then. And also like yung sinabi ko rin before na it gave others time and space to chip in to help out, to also do their part. Kasi sa totoo lang, if we're talking about yung mga roles and responsibilities in a Filipino Catholic-centered family, medyo odd na yung bunso yung reliable one, yung bunso yung, alam mo yon, medyo usually hindi yun yung role ng bunso. Pero it kinda became my role. Because kapag may sinabi sa akin, ginagawa ko agad or nagagawa ko agad. And for me, for a very long time, and I guess even now, with boundaries set, it was just natural for me to just help out. Basta kaya ko.
And I know you're still struggling with that feeling then na, am I doing enough? Am I being a bad daughter or a bad person for not being 200% like you used to do? So that's why it's still a floating question.
And I think it continues to evolve over time. And yes, I still feel guilty at times. I still feel wonder na, yun nga, okay ba yan? Okay ba itong ginagawa ko? Or
You question yourself.
okay ba na nagsiset ako ng boundaries? Okay ba na sundin ko naman yung schedule ko? Or sundin ko naman na...
But I want to ask, so when you started setting boundaries, how did it feel? Ano yung naging effect niya with you, with your mental health, with your life?
I think it gave me more space. Space to just be. Space to just be with myself. It allowed me to do the things that I want. To do the things na kailangan ng focus ko or ng attention ko.
How did it affect your relationships?
Well, alam mo, tricky minsan yung question na like yung relationships ko with family, friends. Kasi sa totoo lang, when I started learning more about self-awareness, boundaries, etc., marami talagang na-cut off na people. In terms of my close circle, I feel na we can love each other from a distance and respect each other's choices and life decisions. At the end of the day, we're still gonna be, family. I wouldn't hold a grudge on them and so I hope they too feel the same. We're all just dealing with life. We're all processing life individually. And kahit hindi namin pag-usapan or hindi nila aminin sa sarili nila na they too are also dealing with similar issues. It so happened lang na I'm vocal now about it.
What also comes to mind na being the strong one is really not sustainable. Darating talaga yung point na you'll burn out. And that's why it was hard before when you started setting the boundaries. Because we're not used to setting boundaries in our collective culture, it will feel like you're the enemy. But at the same time, if you keep going, it will show up in your body, you'll start to get sick, and you'll also start resenting. That's why it's not sustainable. For some reason, I thought of my grandfather. Gustong-gusto niya nagkukwento sa akin. And it was already he was in his 90s, that he would talk to me about his mother leaving him at 9 months old. This is not the first time that he told me that story. But at 90 plus, he would say it with tears in his eyes, tears rolling down his cheeks. That, did you know, when I was 9 months old, my mom left me with my grandmother. She went and I think she went to work. But she came back. So she came back because my grandfather had other half-siblings, younger than him. But it was so significant for him that if you look at his life, he worked really hard. He was really the strong one. He helped put all his 4 or 5 siblings, younger siblings, to school, helped them out. They became really close. But all of them kind of looked up to him, relied on him. He grew up poor, had to walk from the mountainside all the way to school with barely, just tattered clothes and I don't know, but he really told me the story of how hard it was to go to school, but he persevered and he ended up, becoming a regional trial court judge. But his life was ridden with hardship. Na at 90, he was still hurt by his mother leaving him, who eventually came back. So that gave me the lesson of healing your trauma. And that trauma can cause people to work really hard to really be the strong one, because you're just trying to either run away from the trauma or run towards it.
Yeah. In the same scenario na my mom was the strong one. And her life, her childhood was, for her, a traumatic experience. And she take on that trauma and just worked her ass off. She became, alam mo yun, straight A student, class president, student council president. Basta siya yung kailangang laging strong and dependable, responsible, reliable sa kung anumang relationship, community, organization na part siya. And so nung nagkasakit siya, that's like, parang siya yung naging compounded interest nung lahat ng tinake on niya. And that triggered her sickness. And we talked about it. She knew about it. And even when hindi pa niya totally masabi na okay na yung trauma, okay na yung mga hurt na na-experience niya, na sort out niya na yun. She knew na yun yung mga reason bakit nagkasakit siya. And we just hope and prayed na hindi na siya mag-suffer pa.
So being the strong one really takes a toll on us.
Yeah. And so it really gave me that lesson na I'm still learning, na I wouldn't want to be in that place. I wouldn't want to be in a position na late in my life na I would be so sick na I could have done better sana. Wow.
Mabigat.
Mabigat. Pero kasi totoo.
Kasi totoo, kaya siya mabigat.
And talagang, like, just between me and you and our family's individual stories, we know it's real.
Right. Yeah.
Kaya
We've seen it.
Yeah, we've seen it firsthand. We've experienced it firsthand. We're probably still dealing with it until now.
Yes. Yes, we are.
So yes, this topic really hits home. But I'm glad we're able to talk about it and share
Even when it's hard.
Yeah. Because that's why we're doing this too.
Yeah.
Even when it's hard. Hindi to podcast for just the positive vibes only topics. We're here to talk about all the things.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess it's an individual life story as well. I try to encourage people to, once they become aware of how they've been living their lives, to start their own story. So, if you have been the strong one your whole life, is this how you want your life to play out for the rest of how much years you have left? That's really the question you have to ask yourself. I feel that being a strong one, there will come up to a point where a choice will be given to you, or you have to make, the choices in order for you to have a life where you don't have to be the strong one all the time. I think life circumstances will ask you to step up, and you have to, and so you should. But I don't feel it needs to be like 99% of the time. Resting is still a part of us also being strong. Carving the time for you. I think I said earlier, who takes care of you when you're the strong one? If there is no one else, sa totoo lang, you're the one who knows how to take care of you. You're the one who knows what you need. You're the one who knows what kind of food will help you feel better. You're the one who knows how much rest you need. You're the one who knows ano talaga yung pinaka-importante sa buhay mo na okay, if you put in a pie division ng kailangan mong gawin, anong part doon, yung walang ibang pwedeng gumawa. Ikaw lang talaga. Kasi sometimes we think na tayo lahat eh.
Oo, and yung idea na, hindi, tayo lang ang makakagawa nito
Yes.
perfectly or better. That's really, yan yung isa sa mga natutunan ko na, nga naman, pwede namang ibigay sa iba. Pwede mong ipagkatiwala yung responsibility sa iba. It doesn't always have to be you.
And wala lang kasi dapat yung expectation na how you're doing it. It's the only way.
Because it's not gonna work out talaga if yung mindset mo is, hindi, ako lang talaga eh. Ako lang. Magaling ako. Or, matagal ko na yung ginagawa eh. So, ako lang ang makakagawa niyan.
Yeah. Lesson ko pa rin yan sa dad ko eh. When he passed away, he worked for his company for more than 10 years. And of course, okay, let's just say, malaki yung contribution niya doon. And it all, let's say, made things very smooth. Pero nung nawala siya, wala din naman. Someone else has to step up. Someone else had to do his job. Maybe it wasn't as perfect, as great as he did it. Pero life move on, and it will be done a different way. And the world will not stop.
Yeah. And you wouldn't have any control of any of that.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So,
I think reality check din yun.
yeah. So, let's end this topic with just a question sa ating mga nakikinig. If you're the strong one, how can you be strong for yourself?
How can you be strong enough to set boundaries? How can you be strong enough to know when to rest?
To know when to say no.
To know when to delegate. That takes strength as well.
Yeah.
A different kind of strength. If you have questions for us, if you want to add
Yeah.
to this topic,
If you want to share your story, reach out to us.
yeah.
Send us an email or just comment on this episode.
And also, if you're the strong one, be gentle with yourself. Be extra, extra gentle with yourself when life feels so overwhelming. Okay. Until next time.
See ya.